Welcome to our 5-minute Bible study on prayer. We're looking in the school of prayer. In our first several sessions together on prayer, we've looked at some wonderful things. We've seen, for example, that we can all learn how to pray more effectively. Jesus teaches us the way of prayer. We've learned that prayer is really quite simple. It's all about a relationship. We're simply coming to our Father in heaven and talking to Him. We've understood that in prayer you start where you are and you grow. It's all about faith. We just believe that God hears us, and when we talk to Him, He answers. We've seen some things about prayer so far. We've seen, for example, that even when God seems to be silent, He's present, and we still can talk to Him. We've seen that in prayer we let God examine our hearts, show us what's within us that He might transform us. We've seen that prayer brings us to a place of surrender to His will, where we say, Lord, it's not my will I want, but it's your will. And we've seen that prayer transforms us. It changes us as we are with Him in conversation. He makes us more and more into His image. All these wonders are of prayer. Now today I want to give you a very simple tip on how to have an effective prayer life, how to see all these things happen in your life. And it's so fundamental that sometimes we forget it. And that is the understanding that prayer needs to be a regular routine in our lives. It needs to be a regular routine. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 5, Luke says something very, very interesting about Jesus. This is repeated often, but in this particular passage, it comes with great clarity. Luke says that the news about Jesus was spreading all the more, and great crowds were coming to hear Him and to be healed of their diseases. And then Luke says, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Jesus often withdrew to lonely places, being alone with God, and prayed. In other words, Jesus made a routine of prayer, and so must we. As you are developing this wonder of prayer in your life and seeing all the glories of what God provides for us when we pray, you're going to have to make it a regular routine. And by that I mean a daily routine. You need to plan every day to pray. Have a regular habit of setting aside some time for prayer. Now keep in mind, start simple. I would rather you give 5 minutes every morning to prayer and do it as a routine than to try and plan an hour of prayer that you never get to. You see, a lot of folks have these grand ideas. I'm going to spend an hour in prayer, but they never can find an hour. And so they never actually get around to it. Start where you are. Start small. Start with maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes. But make it a regular routine. Now, over time, I suspect that'll grow and you'll have more time to give to Him. But start small. But make it a routine. Don't you ever go one single day that you don't spend some time in prayer. Sometime just very simply talking to God and unburdening your heart to Him. This may be the most important tip on prayer I'll ever give you. Make it a regular routine. Just as much a habit as eating every day. You do that every day, don't you? You set aside some time to eat. And likewise, you need some time every day for spiritual nourishing of your soul, for eating spiritual manna. And that's what happens in prayer. So today, I just want to encourage you that as you begin to develop these kind of prayers we've been talking about, most important of all, make it regular routine. Set aside that moment every day, those 5 or 6 minutes every day, you are going to pray. And you'll find that routine changes your whole life. So, like Jesus, We will often withdraw. We will often go into our prayer closet. We will often go to our private place that we might be alone with God, because prayer will be our regular routine. Hope you have a great day today. Next time we have our gathering for this 5-minute study, we're going to start looking at some of the aspects of prayer, some of the way you actually go about doing your prayers, practicing this routine. So I look forward to seeing you next time for our 5-minute study in the School of Prayer.